Welcome to the buymeacoffee.com/James Poetry, the coffee tips page that supports my James Poetry creative productions and work. See also jamespoetry.online. Hello, Perceptive Reader, and welcome to this special May 7th, 2025 Holy Spirit Magic. This will not be a series, but just the title of this podcast discussion. Yes, I want to relate to you what I said on my website. You can actually appreciate that you have your own beliefs and I have my own beliefs. There's billions of people who may have certain creeds or even dogma that they believe in, but even within their creeds and dogmas, there are actually accounts that they have read from holy books and some human philosophies or philosophers and professors and things of that nature that still came from human research and experience. And it's a lot of it. The Holy Bible actually talks about that there are many, many, many books in the world. And it was saying that if you pay too much attention to them, it can become very wearisome to the flesh, to the bones. Now, every time I think about that verse from the Holy Book, the Bible, I do think about persons who don't care too much for reading at all. And all the same, even persons who are very studious, hey, you may have a novel, you may have a book that's 200 to 500 pages long, or some people have actually read dictionaries in their life, encyclopedias in their life. It is almost like, hey, you spend too much time doing that, even off of one book that with that many pages, then you may actually want to take a break after that. That has been my experience. I'm sure it's others. All the same, you don't lose your love for reading, but you still may need a break from this or that. Let me give you a side note on this. All the same, that's where even audiobooks are great. They are great to listen to, whether spiritual books, novels, fiction, nonfiction, they are great. And so when you want to take a break from just reading with your eyes and things of that nature, try that out as well. Now, entertainment value as well. Now, with that being said, Holy Spirit magic. See, sometimes there are things that have gone on in the world, and we can read them in the accounts, like with the Apostle Paul and the apostles, the disciples of Jesus, that when they performed miracles, people didn't view it always because of what? Their background and what they taught and what they believed in, as if what they were doing were actually coming from the true God in heaven, the one who is known as the creator of the universe, the true God. Yes, again. And keep this in mind now. So when they saw these different accounts, what did they do? What did they say? Oh, let me tell you, it went from a variety of thinking that they were expelling uh, demons by the demons, all the way up to they thought they were gods on earth. You know, they were God on earth. And I'm talking the supernatural, spiritual God, like angels who really just maybe have materialized in human form. Or they actually thought they were some of what we've learned from mythology. You see what I'm saying? Greek mythology on top of that. So there was a lot of belief systems that when God was showing his great power, through his disciples, through his apostles. That's why it needed to be backed up with what? Explanation, teachings. You see, at times to let them know this is where this knowledge came from. This is where this power came from. It wasn't from Zeus, it wasn't from Hermes, but it was actually from the true God. Now, with that being said, what I want to express next is the confidence then in miracles. Even though miracles are rare for some people to see or have seen or experience, it doesn't change the fact that miracles are real from God. And a lot of people don't have confidence in those miracles to help individuals in a variety of ways. But notice what the Holy Scriptures really do show us, that God's power, his ownership, it comes from out of him, actually controls all the elements, earth, wind, and fire, and air. It controls the heavenly bodies. It controls the dream realm, the spirit realm. Do you see what I'm talking about? It actually still controls even us as physical body entities. All right. So everything that we have and that we see, what we may even call miracles, miracles of life, are actually just simple abilities that come from God. So it's a miracle to us. It's magic to us, but it's not to God. It's the same thing as if you go out and cultivate some land. You're using some power on your own that was given to you by God. And yet, listen to this. See, this is natural for you, but I want to share that humorous story that President Reagan had mentioned many years ago, and hopefully you all picked it up or got it. And see, because he was always one that was emphasizing that he believed, you see, in God, but he was a strong advocate of where God still put us on this earth to do the best that we can. See, to work with one another, to make things better for one another. And so he actually gave a joke one time where this farmer had built this, well, he had a farm, but he had a great crop that was growing even bigger and stronger and luscious more than anyone else. Award winning, if you will, farmer awards. I want to exaggerate on that bit. I want to liven it up, so to speak, because the point is, it was more than noteworthy. So noteworthy that he wanted to share what he accomplished in his garden or on his farm. And so he went and told his pastor. And every step along the way that he actually, was showing, look at these watermelons over here, or look at this crop over here, this corn crop or what have you. And it was certainly, you see, more luxurious, as I mentioned, filled with vitamins and iron, looking at making a commercial. But the whole point is, everything that he showed the farmer, he showed the pastor just kept saying, yeah, God is great. Yeah, God did a wonderful job. God did this. You see, and he kept doing it. So at the last stop of what crop he was showing him, and he said, yeah, God is wonderful. Look what God did. And you know what the farmer ended up saying? He said, yeah, I wish you just would have seen it. You see, how did he put it? I wish you would have seen it even before God did something to it. Now, see, the way that he said the punchline, it was funny. But see, the reference was that it was all that work that he still put into it on his own, that then, God still blessed it with the rains or what have you. But it was his part. If he wanted to tilt the ground, if he wanted to put the seeds in, if he wanted to added all these other nutrients to the ground, fertilizer, then it just wasn't going to do like back in the days that, you hear about in the Bible. So that is not taking anything away from God's ability or anything. What I'm emphasizing here is you are to do your best in everything that you can do. And then, yes, God will bless it in the ways that he's going to bless it. But I like to always share now that illustration to continue to show you the value of what you do and what you can contribute to the world. All right. And what you do contribute to the world. I like to emphasize that. Now, getting back still to the miracles all the same. Since God shows that he has control over everything. All right. And he has shown his willingness in the outward purposes of his will to even perform miracles. The main miracles that are being performed today that are actually visible are the hearts and minds sincerely changing in people to wake people up. We have to keep in mind that, especially from a young age, remember how I broke it down, that it seems like it's not all the way until anymore you get up in age before you really start getting an understanding of certain matters. And you think that you were even enlightened at times, even at a young age, but I tell you what, you come to find out you still weren't as enlightened, you see, as you are now. Patience develop more. And even if you have a high energetic level, you see, sometimes you're going to almost feel like you're going to go to blows with somebody. It doesn't mean that you haven't cultivated patience. The situation could still be, which we run into today, ones where you have to be very straightforward with what you're talking about. And especially if you're dealing with someone who don't have the view, and and it's to the level that it can affect people's lives, that it's almost like, okay, we can agree to disagree, but in this disagreement doesn't mean now that you're still going to make decisions that's going to actually physically harm a person, that doesn't mean that then you're actually going to um, uh, hurt somebody in other ways. Uh, that's where, bad reputations can come in from slander. It goes beyond talking bad about a person. It's actually talking about a person to a point where, yes, it can affect the view of even jobs prospects. See, that's where even, when we talk about the Constitution, okay, and what we have our freedoms and Bill of Rights to do. And we realize we do have freedom of expression. And yet people wonder sometimes, where does that end? Where is the limit, or what have you? And one of the ones that I've always shared with you is one, yeah, the spirit of not yelling fire in a crowded theater when you know there is no fire, because that is with an intention to cause harm. Even if you saying you did it for just a joke, that is very serious. See, and it's the same thing as when with slander and things of that nature. Uh, you can end up crossing the line where it's not just freedom of expression or freedom of speech. It's literally turning now your speech into a weapon on such a level in action that does cause serious harm, even financially, which goes beyond reputation and things of that nature. So you just have to deal with those cases on almost like a case by case basis, but you can still see the results. That's why, hey, we may not always be able to stop an individual from saying something, but then don't be surprised if somehow in court, then you have to pay some type of punitive damages for that lack of maturity, you see, of using your voice in that way. But all the same, I just wanted to say that. So, God, His Holy Spirit, it works on individuals in such a way it has caused them to overcome drug addictions and all sorts of other addictions that before they read it, before they went to prayer in God, a lot of these persons will tell you, no, I would have never been able to stop doing this or doing that if it wasn't for God. And guess what they're saying? And some of them will rightfully say, it was God's spirit. I'm here to tell you, it was God's Holy Spirit. And some of you, according to your beliefs, will still say it was God's magic. Have a wonderful day, perceptive readers. Take good care of yourself.